Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today to learn about this wonderful opportunity, the Luksic Scholarships at the University of Edinburgh. My name is Gabrielle Trisati. I'm the Outreach Coordinator for the Luksic Foundation, and we are joined by a lot of great guests today to get you guys the information that you need to go about applying to the program, seeing what the Luksic Scholarships cover, and you're also getting a scholar experience with a Luksic Scholar, Ugo, who started the program this year and is arrived on campus 2 months ago. So this is what today's event will look like, a really brief overview of the foundation. You'll hear from Robbie Willis, Head of International and Postgraduate Recruitment, who will talk to you about the university, student resources, career development, what to sort of expect on campus. We'll then hear from Sarah Harvey, Head of Interdisciplinary Education Administration. She'll talk about the Futures Institute and go into detail about the admissions process, the timeline, and the Luksic scholarships. And we have with us Lucy Wishart, Director of the Circular Economy Master's Program, and Shannon Ballard, Director of the Data and Ethics of Data and Artificial Intelligence Master's Program. They'll give you a quick overview of what those look like and what to expect. And then we will hear from Ugo Zuninga, who is there on campus, starting his master's program, and we will have time for a Q&A. I also wanted to mention that we have Rachel Parsons joining us today as well. She's is on behalf of the international recruitment for North America and Europe. So definitely take advantage of asking any questions. You have the whole team here as well as a Luksic Scholar and the foundation. So just to give a brief overview of the foundation, we do work in other areas. In addition to international education, we design and implement programs in early childhood, sports, conservation, entrepreneurship. You can see more on the foundation's website. But specific to international education, we have been creating these international academic links for about 25 years now. And there you'll see actually some pictures where we visited Edinburgh and the team there. But since then, we've been able to implement over 30 different types of programs across 7 countries and in collaboration with 18 institutions, one of those, of course, being our partners at the University of Edinburgh. And as a result, over 2,200 scholars have participated in these programs, one of which we'll hear from today. So if you're curious to see what opportunities we offer within international education, we'll focus today on the full master's scholarships. But we also have programs in research, fellowships for academics, for example, doctorate in political science, and some short courses that we implement here in Chile with international experts. So this is just a quick screenshot of where the Luksic scholarships are available. So you can take a look at our programs page. And oops, I'm missing the slide on our scholarship. Here we are. So we're, again, really excited to see this interest. Here are some photos from the program and actually photos from the scholars who are currently on program there now. This is a wonderful opportunity for students either living in Chile or who are from Chile to access the Data and Artificial Intelligence Ethics Master's Program or in Circular Economy. These are full scholarships, so we're talking coverage of tuition fees, living expenses, arrival and travel costs. You must first apply to the master's program and then receive an offer of admissions to be considered for the Luksic scholarships. What's important to note here is that the foundation does not award the scholarships. It is indeed the university. So all of the admissions and financial aid processes go through the University of Edinburgh. And then in terms of what our community looks like, if you are accepted as a Luksic Scholar, as Ugo is, for example, he now forms part of the Luksic Scholars community. So that kind of looks like your alumni network through which we provide additional support. You'll see there in the bottom left corner, we actually visit the destinations where you're traveling. We'll bring you Super Ocho and Choquita and all the things that you might miss about Chile. And then after the program, you will have access to an annual fund of up to $5,000 where we can continue to support you in your initiatives. So definitely check that out. And in terms of accessing, again, as I mentioned, all the admissions and selection process is through the university. So I will go ahead and hand it over to Sarah, or to Robbie, sorry. He will share his screen. and he'll tell us a bit about the university. Thank you, guys.
Take it back a few slides. Good to see everybody. Thank you for joining the presentation today. Pleasure to be with you. My name's Robbie Willis. I'm Head of International and Postgraduate Recruitment at the University of Edinburgh. I'm just taking the slides back to the beginning. I think not quite managing. I'm gonna stop sharing and start again. I think. We can get the PowerPoint back to the start. That one will do us there, I think. There we go. We can start from. Is this going to take me back? We can start from there. There we go. Pleasure to be with you. Just to allow a bit of an introduction about the University of Edinburgh before we start looking at the specific degrees that you can consider as part of the scholarship process. Just to introduce the University of Edinburgh, located in Scotland's capital city. So we're located in the north of the United Kingdom on the east coast, and that's where you'll find the university. A relatively small city, population of about 500,000 people, and the university is a multi-site institution. So we've got parts of the university located all over the city. For the programs that are involved in this scholarship, most of that teaching and student experience would take place in and around our central university campus, and that will be introduced to you as we go through. The university has a very strong reputation, so you'll find us regularly ranked amongst the top 50 universities globally. And with a very sizable student population and an international student population within that. So this total student population is around about 50,000 students, and almost half of our students are coming from outside of the UK. So a very significant international student community that you would be studying alongside. Our faculty are also drawn from across the world, learn from the best leaders in their fields, and we've got a number of our program directors on the session today that are going to talk in more detail around what they have to offer. So as I outlined there, our student community and international student community numbers are listed. We teach across 3 colleges. It's a very comprehensive offer across the university. There's almost 300 different postgraduate degree programs on offer. So although you would be having an interest in a specific area, you'll be studying alongside students studying a whole range of different degrees. So you'll be in a very interactive and diverse postgraduate student community. You can see there the range of subject areas that we have across our 3 colleges and the constituent schools. The degrees for this scholarship are held within the Edinburgh Futures Institute, which is in the College of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences. In terms of our masters, they're predominantly 1 year, 1 calendar year in duration. They kick off in September. We've just had the new cohort arrive and join us. They are pretty intensive in terms of the workload, the independent study, a lot of the focus cutting across disciplines, and we find many of our degrees based around interdisciplinary areas. Our taught postgraduate degrees run across normally 1 calendar year, but as was mentioned in the introduction, a range of research degrees that can be considered as well if you're taking studies further into our areas around PhDs. In terms of employability, our graduates are very much valued by employers, both within the UK and beyond. So again, alongside our strong international global ranking as a university, you'll find within the QS world rankings, we're ranked highly in the world's top 25 by employers. Strong metrics around the employability. In terms of our support services in this area, you'll have access to the careers service, but also a range of support services that can assist as you start to prepare and consider what your next steps are going to be. So that could be in terms of counselling through the career service, skill development in terms of building confidence around interviews, presentations, CV development, and career hubs that will advertise and provide visibility of global opportunities. And also opportunities to build your experience as you study. So a number of initiatives within the university that seek to provide projects or practitioner-led projects that can assist with next steps and employability. And that comes along a variety of programming that students can consider that provide opportunities for work experience and access to facilities in that area. In terms of student life and specifically accommodation, you'll be pleased to learn that as you join us as a new student to the university, you'd be guaranteed accommodation in that first year. It's quite a lot of choice and variety in terms of where students live and the type of accommodation that they choose. Most for the postgraduates are self-catered, so preparing your own meals, but there are options as well for private accommodation if that is your preference, but guaranteed accommodation through the university should you choose to take that. Lots of student life and community around about both the city and the university. So if you enjoy clubs, societies, sports, interests, lots happening, over 300 student groups and societies to get involved in. And if you are requiring support and assistance, that is available across both your academic experience and pastoral support as well in terms of student life. So lots of further detail on that through the university's website or opportunities to chat to our students through the UniBuddy portal. But I know we've got program directors and Hugo, one of our current students, available to tell you more about that. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an introduction in terms of where we are, who we are, and what the university experience might look like. So I'll hand on now to let you hear from the rest of the panel.
Awesome. Thanks, Ravi. Perfect. So we will go ahead now with Sarah, and she will tell us a bit more about the application process and the scholarships.
Thank you so much, Gabrielle. Thank you, Robbie, as well. That was very helpful. One thing I'll just add briefly before I move on to our slides there to that one of our scholars from last academic year, who's just finished, is also a parent and brought dependents with them and made use of the university's facilities for student child support and our creche facilities in the main library. And I know they were really valuable to that family as well. So if there are other support services that you haven't seen that you're interested in, then do let us know in your questions. But yes, thank you. A little bit more then. My name is Sarah Harvey. I am EFI's, the Edinburgh Futures Institute's Head of Interdisciplinary Education Administration. So my team and myself will support you during the application process, here to talk you through that, and also during your entire journey with EFI, both as a student and also as an alumnus beyond that as well. Could I move on to the next slide, please, Gabrielle? Thank you. So yes, I've got a few fantastic colleagues here as well, just to introduce them, and in due course they'll come in to speak a little bit about their programs and the academic content of those programs. So Luksic for our circular economy MSc, and Shannon Balla for our data and AI ethics. I'm delighted to have Hugo here as well to talk about his experience and as a student on that programme. So thanks, Hugo, as well. So thanks to Robbie for a bit of an overview of postgraduate study across the University of Edinburgh. To say a little bit more here about what makes it slightly different in the Futures Institute from many of our other schools and departments. It is quite a unique offering within the university that we're really proud of, and these are some of the things that are integral to our programs and courses and our ethos as an institute. So our programs are all interdisciplinary. So you'll from the titles of the two programs here, you'll see we've got colleagues from a number of schools and departments contributing to the teaching of those, ensuring that it's arts and humanities and social sciences together that come to look at these cross-cutting thematic challenges that we see impacting the world at the moment. So they are participatory and porous. So we have lots of colleagues from beyond the university working with us as well. I know we have many kind of external experts and speakers that come and contribute their expertise, and lots of opportunities to connect with industry. We also have a vibrant community of partners working in the EFI building. When you're here, and there are opportunities to connect with those partners if there are projects that are related to your studies, for example, that you might well be able to take up as a student here as well. We're very mindful of the pressing social issues that affect the world and the question of social good of that what we put out to the world is really, really fundamental to our work in EFI. And we're future facing, so we are trying all the time to define challenges and work and create ways to build better futures. And your programs can say a little bit more about the groundings that they'll give you to explore those issues in your academic studies. So that, yeah, a little bit more about what makes our education different. So each of the teams can say that we also are really focused on the skills that you need to thrive in the world as a graduate now. So the kinds of skills that you need, critical data skills, also very, very important to us, the foregrounding of the ethical awareness around those. We see that's absolutely integral to the data and AI ethics program, but it cuts across all of our programs. There's some training in how we work ethically with data, thinking creatively and using methods to address really complex issues. So some of the key skills that will work with you in your programs, particularly in our core courses, stated for you there. Thanks, Gabrielle. Thank you. So moving on then to a little bit more about the scholarship opportunity themselves. So some of these details you may have seen already from the Foundation's website, but just to be really clear, so we've got 3 full scholarships that all cover full tuition fees, living costs for the year, and also a travel stipend to cover your travel to Edinburgh, available for the 26-27 academic year. So starting next September for the full-time on-campus MSc programs in either circular economy or data and AI ethics. We are in the process at the moment of updating our website with the apply links and information here, but just to give you a sense of the kinds of things to be thinking about as you prepare your application. You do need to be a Chilean citizen and domiciled in Chile, and if you have dual nationality of dual citizenship with any other nationality that would qualify you for UK-based fees, I'm afraid you would not be eligible for this scholarship. So what the panel will be looking for evidence in your application are academic merit, so a clear statement of your academic performance, your transcripts there. Say more about the specific criteria on the next slide, and also looking for you to demonstrate through a personal statement that you'll submit with your application to what extent you can demonstrate any of the following criteria. So these are the criteria that are really fundamental to the work that the Foundation does. Can you demonstrate an interest in social change in Chile? Any evidence that you have of work experience, either in the public sector or in a role with strong social impact? If you're the first in your family to attend university, or if you come from a region outside Santiago in Chile. So all of this information will be on our website, but when you are thinking about formulating your scholarship application, we really encourage you to really think about these categories and really demonstrate how you meet any or all of them in your application. Thanks, Gabrielle. So this slide, it does summarize at quite a high level some of the details of our detailed entry criteria. So I would encourage you to click the link in the slides when you receive the slides, just to make sure that you've checked all the details. There are sometimes some stipulations, for example, around which test is acceptable with IELTS and with TOEFL. There are some subsets of those tests that are not accepted. So do please check the details on our website, and it is linked there as well as from the application page. But to give you a sense of what's required there, if you take an IELTS test, you're looking at a total score of 7.0 with at least 6.5 in each component. So that's your written, your speaking, your writing, and your listening. Similar then, the scores listed there for the TOEFL qualification, you would need an overall score with at least 23 in each component. You are required to achieve those scores in one test. It is possible to take multiple tests should you need. So if you do find that you don't meet the conditions required of an English test the first time, provided it's before the deadline stated that I'll come to shortly, you can retake. But it's worth just being aware that you are required to provide one test that meets those criteria. Multiple tests that meet some of the criteria are not likely to be accepted. So that's what you're aiming for there. In terms of your academic performance as well, the minimum requirement is the equivalent of a 2-1 UK degree from your undergraduate degree certificate transcript. So at least the equivalent of a 2-1 or a first in your undergraduate studies in any discipline. There's no stipulation for those programs on which discipline you need to have studied at the undergraduate level. Thanks, Gabrielle. So we were hoping we might have the apply link open for you today. It's not quite ready, but it will be open this month. So for now, just to be aware of the overall timeline, and we'll be in touch shortly with the link to be able to apply for the scholarship. So do look out for that on EFI's website and on the University of Edinburgh's website, and we'll share that with the foundation to pass on to you as well. So there are a few key dates that you need to meet with your application. Some of them we've got plenty of time, but some of them are coming up soon. So do think about these. The first step is to make sure that you've submitted an application to the MSc programme that you are considering by the 15th of December 2025. You'll see from the deadline from the application pages for those programs that there is technically a later application deadline for those programs for a second round, but that is challenging to be in time for the other deadlines for this scholarship. So we strongly encourage you to go for that first deadline of 15th of December wherever possible. The scholarship itself application is slightly later, so you have plenty of time to then think about your scholarship application as well. So the two processes happen slightly in tandem, and the information that the selectors will see that information, but they're not quite integrated as yet. So you will need to submit separately an application to the programme and then an application to the scholarship as well. And that will really focus on your personal statement with those criteria that we've touched on previously. So the deadline for that is in March, so the 26th of March, 2026, which is fast approaching. And the other thing to clarify there is that you would need to have an unconditional offer to the MSc programme by that deadline as well. So there is some time between December and March if you've had a conditional offer to demonstrate that you've met the conditions of that offer. But if you do need to be thinking about things like English qualifications, English tests, etc., we encourage you to give yourself plenty of time to plan and prepare for that and make sure you've got a test booked in good time to provide to the university by that deadline. We'll then have a ranking process, and we'll be in touch with the successful candidates no later than July 2026 and hopefully earlier. Thanks so much, Gabrielle. I'll pause there, but happy to take questions if anybody has any at the end. But for now, I'll pass over to my colleagues. Thanks so much.
Perfect. Thanks, Sarah. And we can now head to Lucy to talk to us about the Master of Circular Economy. But yes, if anyone does have any questions, please feel free to leave those in the Q&A, and we'll get to those towards the end. Lucy.
Thanks, Gabriella. I'm really pleased to be able to share with you a little bit about our programme on the circular economy. I had some last minute meeting shifting, so it's a little bit of a surprise, I think, for everybody that I'm here. So I don't have any slides, and I'll try and cover the programme as briefly as I can so that you get plenty of time to hear from Shannon and Hugo, who I think are in particular surprised that I'm here and before them. So giving a little bit of context about what the circular economy is and where it really comes from, material consumption, global material consumption has increased by 65% over the last 20 years. What does that mean? It means that there's more waste generated, more electronic waste, more textile waste, more food waste, more plastic waste. All of this is created by our economy based on material consumption. That has the side effect of also meaning more extraction. And over 50% of global greenhouse gases come from extraction of new materials. So what we need is systems that use some of those materials that we have already extracted in a circular way. It reuses them in the economy. And at the moment, we're not doing a good job of that. We're actually doing a worse job year on year. So 10 years ago, about 9% of the material flow in the economy was circular, and now in the last year, it's about 7%. So what we're doing on the circular economy matter is thinking about systems and how systems can be designed to keep products and materials in the economy at their highest value for as long as possible. And so that requires us to think about how we produce, how we consume, and how we use materials. Some of those questions are technical, some of them are involving the actual materials themselves, an awful lot of them are social. And so when we think about circular economy future and we're thinking about what this system of reusing materials within the economy looks like, we often call it a socio-technical imaginary. And so what the circular economy looks like, and that imaginary can vary, but what especially can vary is how we get there. So that process or that transition to the circular economy also brings in the political, and the politics are a big part of that transition. So as we're looking at the circular economy as something that has so much potential, and you see the idea of the circular economy as being put forward as solving issues around climate change, providing protection for biodiversity, reducing waste and pollution, but also bringing a lot of social benefits, potentially creating jobs, improving health, supporting supply chain resistance, helping with innovation. There's a lot of benefits in this, but how do we get there? And that's some of the things we want to explore with you on the programme. So the core course is very much centred around thinking about circular futures. What does this future look like? How might we get there? What does this future look like particularly for you? Because different places, different sectors will reach that circular future and will imagine that circular future differently and will reach it in a different way. And so the core course is really thinking about that circular future. And then through your elective courses, you're choosing the skills that you want or you think you need to contribute to the circular future that you want to achieve. So we have elective courses from across a range of different disciplines: geosciences, engineering, Edinburgh College of Art, the Business School and Law. And you can select the journey that you want to take on the programme in order to build up your skills for the sector and the place that you want to support and develop that circular economy. As Sarah mentioned, a lot of the course is building the knowledge not only from within academic communities and with academic partners. Because the circular economy is relatively new, we're learning all the time from people working in that space too. So working with external partners is really important, and you can work with external partners in your final projects, but also across the course of across the course of the programme, and we bring in lots of guest speakers, lots of organisations who are struggling perhaps with their circular journey, so that students can interact and share ideas and talk with them. And one thing that we've introduced this year is having a set seminar series every month where we're bringing in new ideas and new opportunities to look at the circular economy from outside of Edinburgh University as well. Because this is, it's what's really important for me in the programme is that we are a hub of knowledge coming both ways in and out of the university on how we reach circular futures. I am happy to stop there and let Shannon and Hugo have a little bit more time, and I can answer very particular questions in the chat. If anybody has them, I'll still be here. But I'm also very happy to answer questions if people want to reach out to me directly. I'm always happy to answer questions about the circular economy program.
Perfect. Thank you, Lucy. And yes, as she mentioned, here for questions if anyone wants to start putting those in the Q&A specific to this master's program. Thanks, Lucy. Okay, we will go and hand it over now to Shannon.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Gabrielle. So I am a professor of the ethics of data and artificial intelligence at the University of Edinburgh in the Department of Philosophy, where I also co-lead the Interdisciplinary Center for Technomoral Futures, which most of the staff who teach on our MSc program in data and AI ethics are also staff within the center or affiliated with it. So happy for you to move to the next slide, Gabrielle. So this program meets an urgent and growing demand across industries, government, and civil society for skills and knowledge in the ethical design, use, and governance of artificial intelligence and other data-intensive technologies. So as I mentioned, our program staff is multidisciplinary. So our primary disciplines that the program is taught from are philosophy, law, informatics, and science and technology innovation studies. We do have 2 courses led by faculty in informatics, but I think it's helpful to emphasize that this is not a technical degree in computer science or AI and machine learning, although some of our staff do have those degrees themselves. But the program content itself is qualitative and normative. We're looking at the ethical, legal, and governance and policy issues around AI and what sorts of practices and expertise are needed in order to address those. So it is a, not quite yet, Gabrielle, sorry. If you can go back. I do want to emphasize on this 3rd bullet point that we merge theory and practice-based learning. So it's not a sort of purely theoretically driven program in, let's say, moral philosophy of AI, but it really does mix the theory with the kinds of knowledge and skills that practitioners in the fields of responsible and ethical AI and data need. We are open to students from both technical and non-technical backgrounds. So our current cohort come from a very diverse range of expertise, some of them in the social sciences, some of them in computer science and data science, some of them in philosophy and law. So it really is about what you bring to the program, as opposed to us having a very narrow kind of expertise that we are looking for you to have developed at an undergraduate level. Next slide. So the courses, there are 2 required sort of foundational content courses that we call the program core that everyone in the program must take in order to complete it. So if, assuming you're coming for study in a 1-year program, then the first program core course will be offered usually in September. So it'll be the first course that you take, and that's Data and AI Ethics, Law, and Governance. So that course introduces you to ethics, but in the context of thinking about other ways of normatively governing or shaping AI and data-intensive technologies. So you'll learn how ethics works alongside law, policy, standards, and other modes of AI and data governance. The second required course, is usually offered at the start of the second semester, and that's Data and AI Ethics as a Practice. So while the first course is led by staff in law and philosophy, the second course is led by staff in what you might know as STS, or Science and Technology Studies, so driven by the social sciences and their methods, and it's about learning the concrete methods, skills, and techniques that people use to put data and AI ethics into practice in real-world environments. There are going to be 4 electives offered next year. They're listed there at the bottom. Algorithmic Bias, Fairness, and Justice, which I think the content of that should be pretty straightforward. Translational Data, AI, and Ethics might be a bit more opaque from the title, but what it's about is about how we speak about data and AI ethics to different kinds of audiences and how you translate ethical concepts, for example, to computer scientists or data scientists, and how the language that we use to talk about ethical issues can be adapted to the different audiences that need to receive this knowledge or that are interested in this knowledge. And also about how different cultures of technical and non-technical practice come together, interact, and how those interactions can be developed in cross-disciplinary and cross-functional teams in ways that are successful. The third course, Ethics of Robotics and Autonomous Systems, is taught by philosophers who look at some of the deep ethical issues that are coming up around things like AI agents, autonomous weapons systems, care robots, and automation in the workforce. And then finally, we have a course on environmental sustainability and AI that cuts across environmental ethics, which is driven by philosophical expertise in that area, and the particular demands for compute and energy that are coming from AI. I didn't quite mention, let me just briefly go back. The knowledge integration project planning is a lead-in to our final project, which is essentially the dissertation or thesis that you complete at the end of the program. And what we want you to do for that is to develop, propose, justify, and self-critique some kind of ethical intervention in data and AI design, deployment, or governance. And you can use whatever disciplinary methods make sense for your project. Okay, next slide. I think that's it for me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shannon. And yes, if anyone has any questions specific to this master's program, please leave those questions in the Q&A. Thank you. And we'll hand it over now to, last but not least, Ugo, who's there on campus. Ugo, you just arrived a couple months back to do the Data and AI Ethics master's program. So I'll let you go ahead and share your experience with us. Thanks.
Thank you, Gabby. Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming. My name is Hugo Zúñiga, and it's a real pleasure to be here. Well, I'm currently a recipient of the Luksic Scholarship, which is giving me this incredible opportunity to study the Masters in Data and AI Ethics at the University of Edinburgh. I have been in the program for 2 months, so my perspective is very fresh. I'm here today to give you the honest inside look of the scholarship of the program and this journey that I'm currently on. So, well, first, I'll tell you a little bit about who I am. Then I'll share my motivation to stay in the program. Then I'll dive into my program experience and I'll share some thoughts about my vision of the post-program and some advice that I want to give you. Well, let's start with who I am. Well, this is me. With other people who are studying right now across the world with a Luksic Scholarship. My academic background is a little bit of a mix, blending business with education. I have a licentiate in business administration and an MBA as well, and also a licentiate in education. So this combination shaped my career path. I've worked in the corporate world as a young professional HR business partner at SAP Chile. And also I worked in academia as a coordinator of educational technologies at Universidad de los Andes. And it was really at the intersection of these roles, seeing how technology, data, and automatic systems were impacting people in both in business and education that my interest in the ethics part of it began to grow, actually. About my motivation, first, my family, but why this program, why Edinburgh? My reasons are both, actually. First, my family, as I say, and this is I think, my most important motivation. You can see them in the pictures. It's a huge driver for me. My desire to give them a different point of view, actually, of the war, to have that shared formative experience of living abroad together. It's a challenge for sure, but it's also opening doors to better opportunities for all of us. And second, there's my professional motivation, of course. This master is one of the leading programs in its field, and I can confirm, even just 2 months in, that it's absolutely cutting edge. My goal is to obtain this knowledge from top teachers in ethics and AI, because the field is moving really fast. And I want to be positioned to find new job opportunities in this area. So that was, of course, my best choice. But there's also another, I think, that deeper motivation that I have, that I want to demonstrate that in Chile, we have talent, of course, but we also have hardworking people that when you give them an opportunity, they are ready to take full advantage of this opportunity. Well, here I am with other 2 Chileans studying the same program with the Luksic Scholarship. And so what is the on-program experience actually like? In short, I will give it 5 stars. The basics, like the reception into the program, the university facilities, the communication, and the university digital system is really fantastic. So everything you need is managed efficiently on Blackboard and the students' intranet, and you have everything that you need. The best part, I think, is the thinking, because this program really makes you study, think, and reflect also on the topics of data and AI ethics at a very deep level. I think it's not just about memorizing facts; it's about challenging your perspective and learning how to build an argument. So they also have a great fusion model. It involves mixing people who are in person with online students from different parts of the world and from related program, not just your own program. This creates a really diverse and rich environment for discussion. And last but not least, the scholarship is enough to live in the city as a student. You can also find a part-time job with a student visa if you want, but I think that actually it's not necessary if you are living only with the amount receiving from the scholarship. I say that I was going to be honest, so this is really what happens. And yeah, I want to share with you my perspective, my vision of the future, and also some advice. Well, as I said before, even though I'm only 2 months in, I can see that this experience, I'm sure, will open up new job possibilities for me. I know it will give me a much better, more critical perspective on the program's topic, and it will help me to become a better, more thoughtful professional. A big part of this for me will also be being able to come back and share my experience with other Chileans, which is exactly what I'm starting to do right now. So, well, to finish, here's my advice. It's very simple. Just apply. If you are hesitating, I encourage you to go for it, but also be strategic. You need preparation to take the English test that you choose, because the requirement of the English level are really serious. So please prepare for the test. Also prepare your documents. Start early. Please prepare all the required documents to apply to the University of Edinburgh, because this always takes longer than you think. And also enjoy. If you are accepted, enjoy it. The program is truly cutting edge. Focus on incredible, relevant, and recent topic. You can obtain a lot of knowledge, and it also develops your reasoning skills to a higher level than we might be used to. So yeah, thanks for all. It has been really helpful. I hope so. my very last piece of advice: apply to the program and apply to the scholarship. So thank you.